Hi Bookends, and welcome to this week's 10-minute book reviews. I'm 10. So this week our book review is going to be on the Upworld by Lindsey S. Frantz. Can you get a good view? So, just to let you know, how we normally start our videos is we give a star point. Like how many stars out of 10 does this book deserve, and we also give a rating. So if this was in the movies, what rating would it be? So for a star point, this gets a 10. I'm going to tell you why during the review, but this gets a 10. For a rating, I'm going to lean on a PG-13, not because the content is so strong, but because there are some scenes that perhaps a older, younger viewer would have an easier time seeing than perhaps an easier time understanding than a younger viewer. So to set this off, it's set up in a post-apocalyptic world. So it's Earth, but it's after a nuclear war, a large nuclear war has taken place, and America has been splintered into different sections. The section in the book is the Appalachian Mountains. So when you read the book, right, it almost sounds as though this is like the 1800s or 1900s, like before technology. But this is actually post-technology, if you want to think about it that way. So people are lighting fires. People are not making use of electricity. Food is more of a commodity than it normally would be, if that makes sense. So we see the book through the eyes of two major characters, Erilyn, and I believe I'm saying her name right, Erilyn, and Finley, who's known as Finn. Erilyn used to live underground, and now she's above ground, which is why it's called Upworld. She used to live in caves. Interesting enough, the people in the caves, their skin is very light, very pale, very pasty. So is their hair, because that's where they come from. Erilyn, on the other hand, she has darker hair, and she's white, but her skin is not pale, if that makes sense. She's white, but she's not like a fair white, I guess, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to think of who I can think of who. So she's just not pale. If you can think of a really, really pale person, she doesn't look like that kind of a white, but she looks more like a Jennifer Aniston. She looks more like a Jennifer Aniston kind of white. So she doesn't fit in, and she doesn't have any friends. And something horrible happens, and so she has to come upworld, and she believes it's her fault. She believes she's the one who caused the horrible thing. She's taken care of by this wonderful woman named Rosemary, but unfortunately Rosemary is murdered and her home is burned down to the ground. All this takes place before the book starts. So when we get into the actual action of the book, we meet Erilyn and her cat Luna. Cat Luna. I think it's mentioned that she's a serval. So servals are large cats, and she's white, which is why she's called Luna, with a gray stripe and some gold speckles. She's so cute. Rosemary gave her to Erilyn. So Rosemary, she's about 17, 18, and she's making her way, just living in the woods, which is difficult. She has these superpowers where she's able to see auras. So one interesting thing I found was that she said she saw Luna's aura, which was like a content purple. But later on when she meets Finn seems to be very content too with her, but his is green. So I guess someone's aura can change, not in color, but in contrast, I guess, depending on how it is they're feeling. Like someone's aura, I'm guessing from the content of the book, someone's aura could be purple, but it could also be lavender, it could be violet, you know, but their aura, their color is purple. So she's able to see that. She's also able to project her mind further away from herself, so she can extend her vision, so to say. And this is how she's able to scavenge. What she doesn't do is hunt, because for some reason she's able to feel what the animals feel when they're killed, or feel what anyone feels when they're harmed. So she's out scavenging one day and she sees some people called the Wildens. So Wilden, they're kind of like Neanderthal humans. I'm guessing from how they're described. They have like matted hair. They look like average people, but they have matted hair. They're very strong. They're vicious. And so she sees a group of these people and she's scared. So she's like, okay, I'm not going to be able to forage today. Then we move on to meeting Finn, who's in love with a woman by the name of Morgan. Now they live in a town, so they don't live out in the woods like she does. They live in a town, and he's so in love with Morgan. So in love with Morgan. Morgan's kind of spoiled though, because when he goes to see her, they had an argument, and he goes to see her and she's like, dude, I don't want to be with you no more, over one argument. And they were supposed to get married, and that like devastates Finn. Finn is like broken, so he runs away. He just runs out. Before he actually runs away though, what really dug the knife into his chest is when she came to dinner that night, because they have a communal dinner, communal breakfast, communal lunch. So when they had their communal dinner, he saw her with her new boyfriend, the mayor of their town. Like, she just moved on that quick. So like that just broke his soul, poor Finn. So he ran off, got kind of lost, and then he saw the same group of wildlings that Erlen saw. But he's like, I'm gonna kill a wildling, and that's gonna make Morgan love me. Now Finn's not a fighter. Finn's a carpenter, so he's not a fighter. He has some muscle to him because he has to work with wood and tools and stuff. But that must don't mean anything if you don't know how to use it. So yeah, Finn's not a fighter. So he decides he's gonna kill the weakest wildling he can find. Walden he can find. Now here's why I hate the Walden. So they're all like a group of Walden men. They're all sitting around a fire roasting their meat that they, from a hunt that they just got. And the women are waiting for them to throw bones backwards so they can catch the bones and so they can eat the bones. And what the women do too is they bite the bones open and then give it to the children to suck the gristle out. And I'm like, dude, what is the purpose of this? Why are y'all so mean? It's like one little kid saw a Walden drop a piece of meat off of, his spear that he was roasting it on. And the little boy went to go pick up the meat that was on the ground. So dirty meat. He went to go pick up the dirty meat off the ground, and the Walden man just slapped him. Just slapped him. Backhanded the little boy, so he went flying. One of the women grabbed the little boy and she offered him a bone, because that's all the women and children are eating. And the Walden man is like, whatever. So Finn decides he's going to kill the weakest Walden, but the weakest Walden is a child, because they keep the children weak for some reason. And so he gets in his mind, I'm going to go over and kill this kid, I'm going to kill this kid, I'm going to kill this kid. Then when he sees the kid, he's like, wait a minute, it's a kid, I can't do this. And so he goes to run back and try to find his way home. And the Waldens see him, like the grown men. And so they have fun tracking him with their dogs, and they eventually stab him with a poison-laced knife. And he climbs a tree. The dogs are looking for him, but somehow Erlen is able to convince the dogs that, nah, bro, he ain't up that tree. He's somewhere else. And so the dogs keep running, and it's also raining, so it helps to hide his tracks and his blood too. When Finn falls out of the tree, Erlen finds him, and that's how the two meet. I think their love story is so cute. I love their story, and I love that there's no love triangles in this. I really do. So this is spoiler free, so I'm not gonna give away everything. I will say that Finn has a wonderful sense of humor. Like when he's not lovesick over Morgan, he has a wonderful sense of humor. He has a sense of wonder. He wants to help. He doesn't want to be taken care of. He doesn't mind being taken care of, but he also wants to feel as though he's not a drain on society, that he's a help to society. So even though he doesn't really know what he's doing when he's with Erin, he wants to be there with her. Erlen, I called her Erin. Erlen, conversely, has been alone for years, ever since, when I say alone, I mean without human contact, ever since Rosemary was murdered. And so she's not used to talking to people, so this is new for her. And it's cute how she begins to open up to him, and how he gets her to open up to him, and how she lets him in. Moving along to some interesting, the whole book was interesting, but just pulling up some interesting points. He does take her back to his town. It's like, come see my city. So yeah, he does take her back to his town because the winter is getting bad. And when he does, Morgan, who dumped him, Morgan with the good hair. Anyway, so Morgan, who dumped him, she's like, oh my God, Finn, I missed you. Like, she didn't miss him when she was trampling his heart in front of everybody, but I guess now that he come back after like 3 weeks, now she misses him. And so she tries to rekindle a relationship with him, even though Finn really wants to be with Erilyn. And Finn's kind of confused because he's like having feelings that he... Okay, so not romantic feelings, but kind of obligation. It's like, this may be like a skewed example, but choosing to marry someone because you love them, or choosing to marry them out of obligation to them. And so before he loved Morgan, but now he feels like this weird obligation towards her. And the obligation towards her kind of strengthens when they end up making out in her apartment, in Morgan's apartment. And she does something to him, and that strengthens his feeling of obligation towards her. And every time he thinks about Erilyn, he's like, he gets these horrible pains. Like, first his skin starts to hurt, then his head starts to hurt, and there's this constant buzzing that only goes away when he stops thinking about Erilyn and starts thinking about Morgan. Even the memories that he had in the forest with Erilyn start to fade away in their intensity. So I'm wondering, like, does Aaron have powers? Like, what is she doing? What is she doing to him? I'm sorry, does Morgan have powers? Like, what is she doing to him? That's what my mind was like, wait, what? What's happening? So I'm not going to give the details of it, but yes, Morgan is evil. She's the one doing this to Finn. And she's so evil. She has her claws in, like, him. I believe she has her claws in Cillian too, who's the mayor of the town. I could be wrong. I really could be wrong. And Erilyn, because she only knew Finn for a couple of weeks, she just feels like, okay, well, maybe he only liked me because I provided him with comfort. He comforted me. That's it. Like, she's very mature. She's very mature about the whole thing. She's hurt, but she's not mad. She's not broken, but she's hurt though. Lucy, who is Finn's best friend, is like, nah, bruh, something wrong. Something ain't right. This ain't the Finn I know. He's always loved Morgan, but he's never been like this over Morgan. So they go to see him at his apartment. He breaks down and tells them, like, whenever I touch, like, whenever I talk to you, whenever I'm close to you, it hurts me so bad. And there's like this heavy headache that it only stops when you touch me. And so Erilyn does something she's never done before. She projects herself into Finn. And the way it happens, I think, is so cute, because the first thing she asks is, do you trust me? And he says yes, and she asks, do you trust me again? And he said yes, and she asks him again, I believe, and then he's like, with everything. And he says with everything twice. And it hurts him like nothing else for her to project herself into him. Not because Erilyn's doing it in a painful way, but because Morgan has her claws on him in some kind of way. And when Erilyn finds out about it, she does her best to break it. And Finn does his best to endure it. This is a really, really good book. Some highlights that I like about it is I hate magic. I hate magic. I know some of you out there love magic and I think it's the best thing. I hate magic. I need a logical reason for why this is happening. Not because someone said abracadabra, boo 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 boo, and it happens. I need a reason. So the reason why Erilyn has the power that she does is because she was exposed to something called, I'm gonna say it wrong, I'm gonna try not to, Vithium? V-I-T-H-I-U-M, Vithium, I believe it is. And that gives her the powers that she has. She was exposed to it as a child, as a baby. and she didn't know. And it's probably from the war. It's probably some leftover nuclear junk from the war. This is like 200 years, I believe, after the war. So that's why she has this power. And there are people who are trying to harness this power. Morgan is trying to harness this power. The people from the caves are trying to harness power. Everyone's trying to get this power. And I like that there was an explanation. You know, there's no real explanation to the auras thing, but I think most of us, the concept of auras has been around for so long. I don't think there really needs to be an explanation to that. And once again, it's not like magic. It's not like, you know, two things I hate in YA: magic, because I think it's a cop-out, and love triangles, because I just hate them. This book has neither. It has adventure, it has romance. And I hope it has a sequel. I hope. At the end of this, it leaves you waiting for the sequel. The author kind of, I mean, this is my personal opinion. The last chapter, to me, is kind of the first chapter of the next book, if that makes any sense. So I love that. It gives me hope that there's going to be more. If you're into happy endings, if you're into romantic happy endings, this is the book for you. All the good characters live. So I love that. I hate cliffhangers where, oh no, is the good character going to die? Oh no. No. Good characters live, but you know, you read the last chapter and you know some crap's going down. You know it's not over. Morgan is a dragon with teeth and fire and lightning. Morgan, she's coming back. I think Cillian has some good bones in him. Morgan is just spoiled to the point of evil. Spoiled to the point of evil. I don't know how Finn fell in love with her, but you know, he's really kind-hearted, so I guess he might have saw something that didn't exist. I don't know. Maybe she wasn't always like that. But yes, so hopefully there's going to be a sequel. Also, what we like to do in our videos is tell you who we think would be good to play the parts of the characters if this was a movie. So for Erilyn, I thought that Chloe Moritz would be good to play her part. She's from Disney. She's on a show on Disney. She also played Carrie in the movie Carrie. And if you saw The Fifth Wave, the movie, she played Casey. She was Casey in The Fifth Wave. So I think if they made a movie on this and they actually made her face look muddy, like actually made her look like she's been out there and got hit up a little bit, she'd be good for this. For Finn, I chose Donald Gleason. He played General Hux in Star Wars. He also played Thomas McGregor in Peter Rabbit. So he's adorable. I know there's a bit of an age difference, but if you aged him down, it would work out. He's adorable, and he has he's just so adorable. He has that little like stutter thing that he does. And then for Morgan, I chose Miranda Cosgrove because we all know. Okay, so if you don't know Miranda Cosgrove, I'm sure you do. But Drake and Josh, she played the little sister. So she has bite to her. She's pretty. And she looks like she's not taking no for an answer. She's not going to yell and not take no for an answer. She's just not going to take no for an answer. So I think she'd be a wonderful Morgan. Wonderful Morgan, hands down. So this has been a 10-minute book review for The Upworld by Lindsey S. Frantz. We're going to leave links to where you can purchase her book, whether it's in ebook form or physical copy. Physical copy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and look forward to next Monday's video on our next book review, and of course the 10-min check-ins that we do throughout the week. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and have a great day. Bye!